Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Nick and today I'm actually joined with Billy. He's our quad stripe male crested gecko. He's gorgeous. He's fired down right now, but he is absolutely stunning. So in today's video, I want to talk about if conversion kits are worth it or not. So let's get right into it. So when we talk about conversion kits are something that are used to take a 20-gallon long tank or a 40-gallon long tank, and they're used to make the tank tall, which is what crested geckos like, as they're more semi-arboreal by nature. So they enjoy climbing and they do enjoy a little bit of ground space as well. Conversion kits can come in handy whenever you're working with maybe a baby that just needs a 20-gallon. If you use a 40-gallon, you can buy a conversion kit and you can make it a tall tank, or you can just leave it 40-gallon on its normal way, so long. That's plenty of height for the crested gecko, and it's still a lot of room for him. It doesn't need to be turned vertical. That's kind of, crested geckos use both height and they use length, so you're okay either way. So let's talk about the price. So a 20-gallon long with a conversion kit, if you buy during Petco's dollar gallon sale, the whole thing all in is probably gonna cost you around $60. The conversion kit's gonna be about $40, and then the tank itself is gonna be about $20. So you're looking at $60 for just that tank. Now the comparison would be a 12 by 12 by 18, but that's actually only 10 gallons. I believe that those tanks on their own run about like 60, I think they run like $60 or so. That's pretty typical. So you're getting twice the amount of gallons for the same price, which means that your gecko can live in that tank a little longer before you need to upgrade to the final adult tank, right? So that right there, that's a huge perk, right? You're getting double the volume for your crested gecko, which is good for them, and you're spending the same amount of money. So that's a good deal. So when we talk about the adult upgrade, typically you're gonna upgrade your adult to probably a 40-gallon tank, which I think with the conversion kit and the tank, I think you're talking like probably $90 to $100. You can probably find a 40-gallon tank for a lot cheaper on like Facebook Marketplace, or somebody who's just trying to get out of the hobby. They'll have their tanks for sale for very cheap. To whereas the comparative is the 18 by 18 by 24s, and those are gonna run you like $100 to $120. Once again, depending on where you are, sometimes you can find them on Facebook Marketplace for much cheaper, but still, for assuming that you're going brand new in the store, that 18 by 18 by 24, which is a 30-gallon tank, that's gonna cost you about $100 to $120, somewhere in that range. Your 40-gallon tank with the conversion kit is gonna cost you maybe $80 to $100, but still, remember, you're getting 10 more gallons with the 40-gallon tank. So right off the bat, again, the conversion kit from a money to space ratio actually makes more sense than the fancy Exoterras or Zoom Eds or whatever. Now, another pro is that you're able to take these tanks and you're able to make them more arboreal. Now, if you have a 40-gallon tank, I don't think you need to make it more arboreal. That's totally up to you. You can if you would like. It's not completely necessary, but with an 18 by 18 by 24, you really don't even have a choice, actually. It's gonna have to be 24 tall, because that's the way the doors open. So that's something to consider, as well as, 40-gallon is more versatile. But if you're putting on the kit, then you want it arboreal anyway, so that's actually okay as well. And it makes more sense because you're getting 10 more gallons for probably by this point your 20-gram gecko, and that's cool. I mean, the more gallons you can provide, the better off your gecko is. Another pro to using a 40-gallon with a conversion kit is vertical tanks are much easier to decorate than horizontal tanks. Whenever you have a tank vertically, for some reason, it seems like everything in the hobby was made to make these guys be more arboreal, which is fine because they are more arboreal than not. So it does make sense that it'd be easier to decorate it, because the things that are sold with these guys typically make it easier to decorate a vertical tank. Horizontal tank, you're gonna have to get a little creative. You're gonna have to provide more, like lateral you know, running areas and things like that, because you're not going to be able to just build up. You're going to have to kind of strategically build across the whole section. If you do a custom background, this is much, much easier. But that's kind of the other pro, is that in my opinion, I find that vertical tanks are much, much, much easier to decorate than horizontal tanks, for sure. So let's talk about the cons to these conversion kits. And to be honest, the biggest one that I can think of, and probably the only one in reality, is that there's no way to provide supplemental heating. So this is an issue if your home stays like 69 to 71. Crested geckos are marketed to be able to stay at room temperature, but in reality, they kind of want to get up to like 75 to 77. I mean, you can have your crested gecko during the day up to 80, and as long as it drops like 70, 71 at night, you're going to be just fine. There's no way to add a CHE to a conversion kit without it kind of being rigged in a way that's probably not safe to you for your home or the gecko's home. So it's kind of something to consider, is if you just have a reptile room that stays at 75, 77 degrees, you probably don't really worry about heating. Like, I really don't worry about heating too much because all my animals stay in a room that is temperature controlled, and it's just kind of, it's set the way it is, so I don't have to be concerned with it. So I'd be a perfect candidate to use a conversion tank. But if you don't have a reptile room and you just have a couple reptiles that hang out in your room and they hang out at room temperature, most likely you're going to need to add some heating. I do see people talk about adding heat pads. I recently did a video on why I don't think heat pads are great for crested geckos and why they really don't make much sense. The ceramic heat emitters allow these guys to fully to have an ambient temperature that is of what they need. So that's really important, is that these guys get ambient temperatures and not just a hot spot. So whenever you're looking into the conversion kit, while yes, they are more bang for your buck without a doubt. Nobody's denying that. They have a lot more space in them, and they're probably arguably in the long run better for your gecko just because it's more space. So if you can heat your room to be that 73 to 75, then that would be most ideal. But if not, then conversion kit tanks really aren't for you, just because there's no way to really heat them. Heat pads don't work well with these guys at all. I just don't believe in them, and I had a whole video on it, like I said earlier. So conversion kits are definitely worth it. You just have to make sure that you're able to provide the correct amount of heating, and that's very difficult with conversion kits, and that's the #1 complaint with conversion kits. All right, guys, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, leave us a big thumbs up, comment, please subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. But until next time, guys, stay safe and stay positive.